The grinds, the quests. There is so much to do in RuneScape, so much to explore. Today we will be exploring the rich history of RuneScape. If you really want to understand the game you are playing, you must know its history. The God Wars in the Third Age ravaged the land, and many were left without a home or farm. These people fled the continent by ship, trying to find a new continent to call home. When they landed on the shores of Kourend, they decided to divide the land in 3 houses: the Archaeus, Piscaralius, and Lovaken's house. After 2000 years, new refugees came and made their own houses, and so House Shazin and House Hosidius were created. Every house used their talents to contribute to Kourend. House Hosidius oversaw the food production in the kingdom. House Archaeus were the keepers of magical knowledge and the operators of the Dark Altar. House Lovakens were the smiths and miners in the kingdom. House Shazin were the military force and functioned as law enforcers. House Piscatorius were the fishermen and controlled the harbor. Then 1510 years ago, the 5 houses were united into the kingdom of Great Kourend and were ruled by a king in the city of Great Kourend. This didn't last long, however, because King Rada III built a tower called the Tower of Magic and used it for magical experiments. The houses didn't accept the way King Rada used the tower, and all 5 houses rebelled against the king and formed the Council of Elders. Only a few years later, the Council of Elders were disbanded, and from then a lord of one of the 5 houses ruled for 1 decade and passed the office to the next house lord. The land north of Kourend was ravaged by a never-ending winter that froze most of the crops and made the northern towns uninhabitable. The winter was created by an entity of unknown origin called the Winter Beast. Then 60 years later, a master Lovaken smith named Din created a plan to defeat it. And with the help of Lord Lovakens II, they made a giant prison to hold it. They called the Winter Beast Wintertod. Hundreds of years later, King Shazin VII took control of Kourend, corrupted by the power of the Dark Altar, an ancient altar with powers that bridge the gap between life and death. No altar anywhere in RuneScape is as powerful as this altar created the Blood and Soul altar and can possibly make even more rune altars. Because of its immense power, King Shazin was obsessed with this altar and has spent a large majority of his time in the Tower of Magic performing experiments on citizens he summoned. The king wanted more land and sent a party to the mountain in the Kabas region, where raids are now being held. No one survived, but King Shazin VII still managed to make a temple in the mountain, with an unstable altar that had the ability to amplify the Dark Altar's powers. Here, the native species of lizards in the Kabas region were experimented on, creating creatures such as the corrupt lizardmen. The king decided to mass-produce lizardmen to make an army for Kourend. He did not stop there, and even bred humans using dark magic. It is said that King Shazin VII was eventually killed in battle, ambushed by his own army of elder warriors, but they never found a body. A few days after the battle, Xerac appeared and was said to have looked similar to King Shazin VII. He had used the power of the Dark Altar to move his spirit from his mortal body into a corporal one. With this newfound power, Xerac killed the remaining lords of the houses and claimed Great Kourend as his own, using the lizardmen he had mass-produced in Mount Quidamortem as his army, serving him as guards and enforcers of Great Kourend. The lizardmen would sweep cities and farms, kidnapping people for his experiments. Then Byron, a farmer, started a revolution because a kid was killed by the lizardman guard. Then the people revolted, and within 7 days the lizardmen were outnumbered and driven to the caves beneath Kourend. These caves are now called the Catacombs of Kourend, and still hold many experiments that were made by Xerac. Byron and his followers drove the lizardmen back into the Kabas region and destroyed the temple around the Dark Altar, causing Xerac to lose power and forcing him into exile. Byron the farmer was crowned king, and his descendants ruled the kingdom till a civil war between the 5 houses broke out within the kingdom. Only 20 years ago, the last king, called King Kourend IV, died, and because his daughter was too young to take the throne, the Kourend Council was temporarily formed in order to rule the kingdom until Rose came of age. However, the council declared that Rose became insane after the death of her father and considered her unfit for rule. Accused of killing her father, she was locked away. With no suitable heir for Kourend, the council was made permanent, with the kingdom now known as the Republic of Great Kourend.
There are reports coming from the Cabbage region about a whole new unexplored land with creatures unknown to us, and a guild that was unexplored. Maybe some adventurers would be interested in exploring this new area that we shall call the Cabbage Lowlands.